Travis Frederick talking about you.
Oh.
He mentioned how you felt like you were in a great situation. Can you kind of just explain why this seems to be working out so well for you in Green Bay?
First of all, I like the organization. They've first class all the way. Good people top to bottom, from the coaching staff to our locker room to the support staff. Really is a family type atmosphere, and it's good to be a part of that. And it's also good to be close to home, close to Madison, close to Chicago too.
You guys are always itching to start. Obviously, is that still an itch that you can't wait to scratch at this point, even though you know that injury-wise something's going to have to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what motivates you every day, and that's what, in a lot of ways, keeps you in the league. Was you got to prepare like you're a starter, because if you're not doing that, you're not pushing the guys ahead of you, and you're also not helping the team out. I mean, I think that hunger is contagious through our locker room, and as a competitor, that's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to stand on the sideline, you're trying to play. So that always is a motivation, I think, going into each season and throughout the whole, from July 28th when we started all the way until hopefully February.
How much are you learning from Aaron?
He's been awesome. He's thanks, Bill. He's the
trying to get work.
Yeah. Aaron's the best in the game, so I'm fortunate that I get to learn from him, and he's also been great going out of his way to help the younger guys ever since I stepped foot in the facility. So we all appreciate it, and he's the leader of our locker room for a reason.
At the same time, you're helping out Matt Blanchard, so it's kind of some guy that maybe would be taking the job you'd be looking for. But what's that mentality of helping out some other guy?
I think as you get older, you kind of learn how to approach that more and more. I mean, there's always going to be quarterback competitions. Ever since I stepped foot in the Wisconsin locker room, there was a quarterback competition, which is good because that pushes everyone to get better. But I've learned over the years, you focus on yourself, but you also can help the young guys because that's actually helping you in return. So I think it's kind of an immature thing to do if you're gonna turn a cold shoulder to a young guy. That's not going to get you any better either. So, and I've learned that you play better when you have a good relationship with your quarterbacks and you're all working together. So, I think that's the way I approach it now.
As someone who worked with Paul Chryst as closely as you did, what does it mean to you to see him become the head coach of this program now?
It's awesome. I know, just even last night we had a reception with a lot of the former players, and we're all thrilled that he's back just because he was so good to us as players, both first and foremost as a coach, but also just as a kind of someone to guide us through our college years. The thing I'm most excited about is really the 5 years that I had with him made me into an NFL player, and also he's like a second father to me now. So I really truly am excited for every kid that commits to come to Wisconsin. I know what they're going to get from coach because everything's going to trickle down from him, and it's an awesome guy to have leading our program.
When you worked under him, did you ever envision him as a head coach, and what do you think is the biggest adjustment? I know he worked that big. What do you think is the biggest adjustment to go from even a coordinator to running the entire operation?
Yeah, so I think he'll be better even than his start at Pitt just because of its experience. So it's his second go-around as a head coach. So you get to kind of start insight, learn from your mistakes, and build on the things that work. So, and as far as going from a coordinator to a head coach, we know Paul still loves his X's and O's, and that's his baby. So he'll still have that. That's what, to me, Paul's one of the hardest working coaches because he does all of the overseeing stuff as the head coach responsibility, but he's also still doing the X's and O's in the game plan. So I think guys that know what's on his plate really appreciate everything that he does, and he does it so well and still manages to be this humble guy, normal guy that people gravitate to.
Besides the X's and O's, it's also important the stability. He would bring this in as a hometown guy that doesn't seem like you're worried a year or two now is going to be jumping ship to go to Oregon or some other place, I guess.
Yeah, and I know Paul would probably say the same thing. You just focus on each year. You can't guarantee anything down the road. You just try to work each day and improve. And I know that's what his focus is. He probably doesn't look long-term at it because we all know it's a what have you done lately business. But I think he's excited for the opportunity, but I think he's just going to focus on the now and not, the future.
Chris Borland made news in the offseason about his decision to retire from football. What was your reaction when you heard it? Were you surprised at all?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but at the same time, I was fortunate I got to hang out with Chris in LA when the tournament games were out there, and if you know Chris well enough, you know that nothing's an impulsive decision. He's an intelligent guy to begin with, but he's also spent a ton of time researching it and talking to professionals in that field, multiple ones. He was filling me in on the whole story. And so you do really appreciate and believe in what he believes in because of the work that he's put into it. So we obviously respect the heck out of it. And more than anything, I just respect who Chris is. He's always been this toughest kid I've ever met, but also the most humble too. And with that, you support him in anything he does just because of who he is.
Another fellow former teammate, J.J. Watt, put on the skates on Friday night here in town for charity. Is there anything at this point that you would be surprised if you flipped on the tube and saw it was J.J. doing this or that for a charity
No,
cause?
he's a freak of nature, and it's always mind-boggling to see kind of what's next because you think he's done everything, and then there's something else that he does that just kind of blows your mind again. So, super talented to begin with, but also works his tail off, and that combination is pretty lethal as we're all seeing throughout the NFL.
What are your thoughts on
Let's
Brett Favre?
can we let Scott go and get
real quick.
Jacob Pedersen in?